country's back, and so it seems. They can't shake our pride, they can't kill our dreams. They can try, but we don't buy what they have to say. No way. Let's keep America, America, USA. Keep America, America. Keep America, America. The road is just around the bend. It's calling once again. Keep America, America. There are those who say nothing here is great. Their hearts are filled with anger, their minds with hate. But there's a truth to be told, and it's never too late. Keep America, America. Keep America, America. America, America, you can help the countrymen make it great again. Keep America, America. Storytellers want to rewrite history. They forget we stormed the beaches of Normandy. It should come as no surprise. Evil meets with its demise when America's America. Keep America, America. Keep America, America. With her loving grace, whatever we may face. Keep America, America. We just want to laugh, just a smile. We're proud to be Americans, American style. We're the beacon of hope, home of the brave. Our time is now, we have our country to save. Keep America, America. Keep America, America. He raised his fist and now we're sure. We know just what we're fighting for. To keep America, America. To keep America, America. To keep America, America.
Thank you very much, Larry. And again, that's Larry Clark and Lydia with the American Conservative Musicians. That song you just heard is his original piece. Okay, right now it is 7:35. We're going to start the meeting. I'd like to ask Mr. Aiden Goodrich to start us with the Pledge of Allegiance. So, would you please stand? Okay. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Born and unborn. Thank you.
Thank you
very much, Bruce. Okay, reading of the mission statement, please. James Flower, would you like to the mic?
Doesn't matter.
It's going to be recorded, so it'll be easier. I think it's great voice.
The mission of this club shall be to advance the principles and purposes of the Republican Party, to elect Republican candidates to public office, to strengthen the civic welfare of the community, and to engage in a vigorous exchange of ideas supporting Republican values.
Thank you. And roll call.
Daniel Mayo,
Here.
David Abraham, Kathy Lawley, Zlil Levy, David Kemp, Isaiah Vega, Carol Crone, Arkadiusz Tomaszewski, Arkadiusz not here, James Schwartzman, Martha Rowan, Stephen Weiner, Jim Strongland, that's me, Martha Rowan, she's already not here, Philip Grillo, Stan Norwalk, Ruben Cruz.
Present.
Here, thank you. Joel Solomon, Catherine Donnelly, Craig Tyson, Vic Stursky, Phil McManus,
Here.
Juan Pagan, Gile Chow, Gerard Lally, Emily Singh.
Okay, thank you very much. And reading the minutes, today will be done by the total operating time. We have 2 minutes to be read. One is in April 17th, and the other one is May 15th. Go ahead.
Minutes of the regular meeting of the Central Queens Republican Club held on April 17, 2025 at the Grace Lutheran Church, 10315 Union Turnpike, Forest Hills, Queens, 11375. The meeting was called to order at 7:30 p.m. Harris Body read the Pledge of Allegiance. James Schwartzman read the club's mission statement, did the roll call, and reading of the minutes. Anton Chapman motion to adopt the minutes was seconded by Richard MacArthur without objection. Board members in attendance were Stan Moore, Joel Solomon, Andresius Tomaszewski, I apologize, Gerard Lally, Kathy Lally, O'Connell, Daniel Mayo, James Schwartzman, Greg Tyson, Ruben Cruz, and Isaiah Vega. Absent were David Abraham, Tazil Levy, Phil Billow, David Kemp, Martha Rowan, Jim Strawman, Stephen Wiener, Catherine Donnelly, Nick Slarsky, Phil McManus, Juan Banana, Zili Chow, and Emily Zeng. 26 members and 34 non-members were in attendance. Check balance was $4,312.94 with 94 paid members. Zara Rashid, as guest speaker, is an RN whose specialty is private residence therapy. Advised that your health is in your own hands. She is quote-unquote pissed, not my word, about forced COVID vaccinations. Luisa Flores shared a story of anti-vax doctors who left the system and set up their own practices. Kathy Lally shared that her oldest child was vaccine damaged. Announcement: Stan Norwalk has free Yankee tickets for June 16 evening game against the LA Angels. Ed Lee talked about his efforts and activities. Gonzalo Dorin gave an appreciation award to Isaiah Vega. Independent petition organizers, Gonzalo Dorin, public advocate, candidate on Republican and conservative lines, is organizing United Alliance. Tabitha Ward and John Delgado, mayor and Queensboro president candidates respectively, are doing innovating New York, quote unquote. James Leonard is the mayor candidate for the city guests. Jerome Terrell Ross, mayoral candidate, is collecting under the Olive Branch. Abby Laurel Smith, mayoral candidate to rebuild. George Marsh, mayor candidate for Common Good. Angela Aquino, public advocate, candidate for Asians United, was quite passionate, calling out petitions names by her opponent, Jennifer Rajkumar. Jonathan Reynolds, City Council 29, proposed his RSA, Republican Socialist of America line, and Marty Dolan, public advocate, is doing Unity. Dr. Selma Bartholomew, having a specialty in education, is running in the Democratic mayoral primary. The meeting was adjourned at 9:30 p.m. Minutes of the regular meeting of the Central Queens Republican Club held on May 15, 2025 at the Grace Lutheran Church, 10315 Union Turnpike, Forest Hills, 11375. The meeting was called to order at 7:31 p.m. The club's mission statement was read by Jim Strawman. James Schwartzman did the roll call. Reading of the minutes of the April 17, 2025 meeting was tabled. Board members in attendance were Jim Strawman, Stan Norwalk, Daniel Mayo, James Schwartzman, Ruben Cruz, and Isaiah Vega. Absent were David Abraham, Tazil Levy, Phil Billow, David Kemp, Martha Rowan, Greg Tyson, Stephen Wiener, Catherine Donnelly, Vic Starsky, Phil McManus, Juan Banana, Joel Solomon, and Andresius Tomaszewski, Gerard Lally, Kathy Lally, Carol Crone, Zili Chow, and Emily Zhang. 24 members and 13 non-members were in attendance. The balance was $4,759.30, 49 paying member. Announcements: Stan Norwalk, through his Kew Garden Hills Civic Association, had been allotted tickets to the Yankees Angels game on the evening of June 16. Jim Strawn recommended watching the May 25 National Memorial Cup concert, National Memorial Day concert, I apologize, in Washington, D.C., which broadcast stories of fallen heroes. Mario Mastrandia suggested watching the 2007 Great Global Warming Swindle movie. Jonathan Malby announced his intentions to run against Andrew Hevesy for state assembly in 2026, even though he is on the ballot against Lynn Shulman for city council in 2025. Isaiah Vega experienced homelessness in recruiting. Experienced homelessness and turned his life into helping candidates. Anton Trapman recognized that Isaiah is ideal in recruiting volunteers. Later in the meeting, Zook Lugar announced a new, quote, coalition to fight for our health and lives, unquote, to end 24-hour workday, protection city healthcare, and fight against the city of yes agenda. Ed Lee listed several of his upcoming activist events. Candidates: John Patrick Healy, City Council District 26, Sunnyside, Woodside, Long Island City, and Astoria, against Julie Wan. He raised concerns about increasing number of trailers and RV being used as housing, as well as safety around pot shops in his district. Proposed that the adjacent City Council candidates, Ramses Frias, District 25, Alicia, it's a tough one, Vaikunas, 30, and Jonathan Rinaldi, 29, work together. Jonathan Rinaldi, City Council District 29, Forest Hills, Richmond Hill, Kew Gardens, Ozone Park, against Lynn Shulman. He proposed that energy and public transportation should be free, and the department and the MTA and the Department of Education need to be overhauled. City gas conversion to gas to electric will increase utility rates. Richard MacArthur asked how the city is to pay for free transportation. Isaiah inquired whether Jonathan is still running on the Republican Socialists of America line. Joseph Foley, City Council District 2, Gramercy East Village, in an open race. As a small business owner and father of 2 children, 5 and 3-year-olds, the safety of his family is the main reason why he is running. Republican gets a, I don't know what this means, FU, in his district, so he is running as an independent New York Family's first candidate. Ed Lee and Mario asked about real estate and housing. Wayne Change, Brooklyn Borough President against Antonio Reyes, his passion is education, youth, and community development. Ed asked his position on UFT charter schools, vaccine mandates. Anton asked about the budget of the Borough President's Office. Irene Estrada, mayoral candidate on the Conservative and the Asians United, quote-unquote, line. Recent laws are anti-God, anti-family, anti-authority, and anti-police. It is not the government's job to raise my child. Those are her opinions. Questions from the audience. Aisha Parrott asked Ms. Estrada about her position on 2024 Proposition 1 that amended Section 11 of the Article of State's Constitution in relation to protection. Irene asked for more clarification. John Healy explained that it was originally marked Equal Rights Act, quote-unquote, on abortion, leaving out other details. Joseph said boys could not play girl sports. Imagine if Caitlyn Jenner, I don't know who asked this question, imagine if Caitlyn Jenner, the Olympic medalist, also competed against women Olympians. Wayne said he is pro-life, pro-choice in certain situations. He emphasized the Word of God, I usually put God in capital letters, has a higher authority. James Price asked when prayer was taken out of school. Irene answered it is said that it was taken out, needs to be brought back. Regina, I apologize about this one, Fahey's asked about Albany's bill on physician-assisted suicide. Irene Estrada got the last word in. The meeting was adjourned at 9:36. There are your minutes.
Are there any corrections or to the minutes that was read? Okay, seeing none, do I have Anton?
I make a motion to accept the April and May minutes from the, as read.
Okay, we have a motion. to
Second.
accept the minutes. Okay, second by McManus. Okay, all in favor says aye.
Aye.
All nays, opposed? The minutes of those 2 months have been adopted. Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on next, let's see. The report of the financial secretary, our treasurer, Arkatus Tomaszewski, recently was remarried. So he's going to strip with his new wife. But anyway, so we want to wish you well. The current balance of the bank is $4,509.69, where we have 49 paying members. Okay, moving on to some announcements there. As you just heard from the previous minutes, we did have the free Yankee tickets that was on June 16th. We have Mets tickets available on August 2nd. That's if anyone is interested. August 2nd, that's a Saturday afternoon game, 4:10. That's the Mets versus San Francisco Giants. Okay? So this is on August 2nd. Let me know if you like to go. Now, these are all free tickets. Unfortunately, these are not good seats. Those are up in the bleachers.
Nosebleed.
Yes, there is something.
Nosebleed.
You won't be able to catch any balls in that area. Well, you may, but I don't know how many people ever get that high. Okay, just let me know, and we'll do the tickets as many as you like. Another announcement, let's see, he hasn't come here yet, he hasn't arrived yet. We have a new member that joined us tonight. I asked whether he would like to say a few words. That is Mr. A.M. Goodrich. Would you like to say a few words? And also, anyone who wants to make an announcement after Ms. Goodrich, please let me know. I'll pass the mic to you. Go ahead.
Thank you. So I want to say, because I don't really say, like, you know, because the parliament election is coming up, and we still early voting, everybody who vote on it. So whatever you do, so don't bring Cuomo in the general election. So that's about it, because number one, he is a betrayed the corporation, and second, he sells the candidate bail. So that is a big problem. We don't vote for Cuomo. We have to vote for a Republican to make us safe and comfort.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
How did you find out about this?
It was on, first of all, we researched it online.
Good.
Thanks for looking.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for looking there. So anyone else like to make some announcements before we meet with our speakers? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to our speakers here. Let's see, the first one is Elena Chen, okay? And Jim. They're running for county committee, and I'll let them explain further.
Okay, I'll let Jim start, because I'm very old.
Good evening, folks. Thank you again, Danny, for your hospitality and for the club and the wonderful things you're doing, and fellow patriots also. I just want to explain to us our situation, what's going on. Elena and I have been county committee for over 4 years now. Our area is Windsor Park. Just to give you a little background, it's mostly 6-story apartment buildings, the co-op, the way it's situated. So it's not like you go out in this neighborhood here, where you knock on doors for 1- and 2-family houses. It becomes a little bit challenging for us because we can't just ring doorbells to get in. So Elena and myself have lists of people which we go down and have to make phone calls to get in touch with them. We're actively, active in the community, trying to help these people and keep in touch. And I feel we have a good relationship with a lot of people, some of them are elderly. Again, it's not easy to get into their houses, so between emails, phone calls, and even messages, whether or not they get back to you, and we do get them for petition signing. What recently has been going on now is that we've been challenged by somebody that's in a totally different neighborhood. It's hard for me to understand the logic of that. If we're familiar with our neighbors, we have a small, tight-knit community, and they put somebody opposed us that lives in Jamaica States. So my question and my confusion is why things are running smooth and we're in touch with all these people. Why are they running somebody against us? It seems like a lot of people fighting against us. That's part of my confusion, and just wondering why we're being challenged by somebody who's not in our neighborhood, who doesn't know our neighbors. So I'll pass it off to Elena. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Jim. So most of you know me, actually know both of us by now. I'm an executive board member Stein, the chapter chair of Queens County Mountains for Liberty. I write for the Beacon, and as Jim said, we're very active. Before I elaborate on what he said, I just want to start with a quote from a 9-year-old, a very bright 9-year-old student that I counseled in 2020 before I retired, right around the time of the George Floyd riots. And this young man looked up at me and he said, "Mrs. Chin, I don't understand the people in this country." He said, "It seems like they were fighting with themselves. If we're fighting with ourselves, how can anyone win?" And that surely seems, appropriate for what we're dealing with here. So that's why I just wanted to share that. That was out of a 9-year-old. I wish I could give a few lessons to somebody else. But, and I want to start by saying I'm not really in favor of airing dirty laundry out. I'm very opposed to that kind of stuff. But what we're dealing with here is far more than dirty laundry. Okay, and it's gone on long enough as far as I'm concerned with us personally. And I've been silent about it for a long time, but if I'm silent, I'm complicit. We're not winning elections, our city is going to hell, okay, and the time now is to speak out, not to be silent anymore. And not to mention what's happening to our children, because we have a one-party rule in New York and we can't get Republicans elected. So this really, we need to break this pattern. And this is not a personal vendetta, so I'm not going to use names. I'm not going to be calling anyone out by name, but I'm here because of this urgent need to change the political ties, to start getting Republicans elected. And what we're doing is not working. In fact, it's working against us, it's working against candidates. The time is now, it's a good opportunity. We don't know what's going to happen if Trump is out of office in 4 years. So if we miss this opportunity, we may never have another one. So enough is enough with what's going on. The first time we ran, this is the third time we're running. And as Jim said, it's a small area, Windsor Park. We're all in buildings. So, it's our own little community. So outsiders are not really that involved in what goes on in Windsor Park. We were primary. Okay, I didn't think much at the time. We won anyway. But thank you. And something told me, well, why don't I reach out to the young lady who, was running against us? And so I did. Lovely young lady. And I was astonished by the fact that she had no clue how her name got on about. Okay, she said, I said, did you petition? She said, I don't even know how to petition. I don't know how my name got on that ballot. So we became friends, and it said, well, welcome, obviously you're another Republican, and there's a number of Republicans in my area. But again, it's hard to get to them, so I'm trying to establish what I call building captains. I get one key person in every building, and then through them I get a couple of, signatures and like that. We after a couple of years, you get the hang of things. So, that was the first thing. Okay, so how did this woman's name get on the ballot? She said, well, the only thing I can think of, I think it was Giuliani. I signed a petition from Giuliani. Somehow or other, not put her name on the ballot. So something's wrong right there. So the next time we ran, we weren't challenged. But in between all that time and now, I have to tell you some of the things that I encountered, conversations I had with county members. I was told my club, Queens Village, and clubs like this club, your club, are not recognized by the county. Not recognized, those exact words. All right, well, what the heck does not recognize mean? So, that stayed in the back of my mind. Then, on at another time, at another meeting, I had the opportunity to ask a county member. So, because I don't generally let things go, they kind of fester to the right moment, and then, we're gonna make my move. So what do we need to do in my club Club to be recognized. Well, thank you, George. George, were you there?
Keep going, I'll talk to you now.
Okay. Well, what did that evolve into? Okay, this will really shock you. That evolved into threats, embarrassment, and intimidation, and nothing less. Okay, and I stood there because I knew if I opened my mouth, I'm not obviously in friendly territory, so let people show everybody who they are, and they did. Okay, the conversation evolved into threats of shutting my club down, of mowing anybody down if they didn't carry a county petition. Okay, and this went on for, how many minutes, Jim, did I stand there and let them be racing?
At least 10 minutes.
Okay, at least 10 minutes. So I stayed silent, but you know what? The whole room stayed silent too.
You learned a lot.
Okay, so I took it all in. But now I've had enough, okay? And it's destroying the party, and it's destroying the city. We live in a purple borough, okay? There's no reason by now that we cannot get Republicans elected. But maybe, you know, at the end of this meeting, maybe everyone can see why we're not getting Republicans elected. So that was my experience. Now, most recently, as Jim said, here we are, we're running again. Now, it's funny how God works, okay? Sorry, but I don't mean to, if anybody in the room doesn't like God, you should start liking him, because he works miracles. So one of my friends calls me and says, Elena, one of my building captains, as they call them, someone's having to go with a petition for Curtis. So I said, oh, really? I said, how come we didn't get that petition? You know, we were running our own petitions, and for various reasons, it gets very complicated, you know, as far as the little manipulations and the little deceitful things that the county does in every way they can to knock whoever they don't like, whoever doesn't toe the line, to knock them off, you know, the petitions, knock them off. So she said, yeah. I said, well, what do you see on the petition? So she said, Curtis, and she goes down the line. I said, what do you see at the bottom under county committee? Empty line. Empty. Now listen, I'm a big proponent of primaries.
Yes.
I'm in favor of primaries, but that's a legitimate primary. You're not going to get any opposition from me about a primary, as long as it's done legitimately. But now here's the thing. So the last line says county committee, no name. So she said, I'm going to, you know, we're getting wise to this stuff now, and so should everyone in this room. She takes a picture of the petition. So I said, you know what they're going to, I said, well, if you sign it, you're going to be signing against me, because they're going to put a name in there. Okay, and now is that legal? Does anybody in this room want to sign have their name on a petition, and then somebody's name gets illegal, is slipped in there?
That's not legal.
It's not legal. It's not legal. But when you're fighting your own party, who's going to insist that you bring an attorney to fight these things, and you don't have money for an attorney, why are we not winning elections, folks?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. So now, I said, lo and behold, they're putting someone's name in there. I knew it from the get-go, because now I'm onto this. All right, we go, Danny helps me out, we go down to the Board of Elections. We said, well, we have one more avenue. Let's go to the Board of Elections and see if all of these signatures are legitimate, and let's see if the name was written in. It had to be. And sure enough, there's the name written in. Then we look at we go over all the signatures. 10 out of 20 of the signatures were bad, which should have disqualified this person. So I go through all the motions. Thank you, Danny, for helping me through everything, knowing how to fill it out. But lo and behold, they're going to find something. They're going to find something. You know why? Because I don't toe the line. Okay. I have my own values. I am a Republican. Republicans think for themselves. And I'm going to end on that note. But anyway, so 10 out of 20 of the signatures are outright bad. There was a Democrat on there were people out of the district, there were, one sheet wasn't initialed, and the date was corrected, which eliminates 5 signatures right there. Very legitimately found 10 signatures out of 24 bad. Fill out all the necessary paperwork, send FedEx everything, which, as you know, it costs money. I didn't need to spend that for nothing. And yet the response that I got back from the county was, now, I want you to keep in mind, the county knows that I am moms for living. Okay, I don't know if they have something perhaps against moms, I don't know what it is. I have offered to speak at county events, never once was I asked to a county event. Okay, if you want to win elections and you have a group of mama bears out there who are willing to move mountains for their children, why would you not jump on that? Why would you not take that opportunity? Why? Because the personal vendetta isn't mine. They have personal vendettas. And enough is enough. This antiquated Cosa Nostra way of thinking has to go. Okay, we need to win elections. So, you have a question?
When that petition was, fooled around with, did you recognize the name that they put for the county person?
Well, I did not, but I did go pay a visit to the person. And I figured maybe the gentleman doesn't know that his name is being used illegally. So I did go to his home, I did speak to his wife. She said, well, I'm not the one to speak, you'd have to speak to my husband. I left my card, I left the newspapers, to show like I'm not some kind of a quack. I don't think I present myself as some kind of quack, and I never heard from the gentleman, but I'll reach out again. I'm not that easily deterred. But anyway, so we send all the paperwork, we send what they call the spec sheet to the Board of Elections, and to all the necessary parties. And I get back a notice saying, we're not going to recognize your, whatever term they use, your specifications, because you didn't include a specification key. So let me tell you what that is. So when you get a booklet with, with the sheets to fill out, there's instruction pages. And on one of those pages are the abbreviations for the specifications that you're indicating. So they have that book. They know what those abbreviations are, but they wanted a reason to knock me off, and make me be challenged, make us be challenged. And so they denied me the right to a hearing. Does this sound like people?
It's America.
Is this America? And my club often, and Danny, I'm sure you get the rap also, we are causing a breakup in the party. We're standing in the way of unity. Well, let me just say something. Unity does not mean conformity.
Coercion.
Or coercion, thank you, Phil. Conformity demands silence and sameness. If I wanted to conform, folks, I'd be a Democrat. Okay, I'm a Republican, and I uphold Republican values. Okay, we don't have time to waste anymore. Every moment we waste, there's a child's body being mutilated.
That's right.
Okay, there's a child's mind being twisted and brainwashed, and children are being denied a proper education. Which, if we don't get that under control, we're not going to have a country anymore. So, what are we doing here? Enough. Okay, this is not airing dirty laundry. I'm not complaining that somebody is primarying me. I welcome a primary, a legitimate, fair primary. Not you're going to write a name in after a petition goes around. That's not a primary, folks. That's corruption. We have a Republican Party in Queens that wants to dictate but not communicate. Never once since I've run, since Jim and I have run for county committees, have we gotten a welcome letter. Danny, do you give out welcome letters? Danny knocked on my door, okay, when I joined his club, and left me a certificate. Okay, that's what a leader does. We do not have leadership at this borough. Nothing, zero. The third time we're running for county committee, did anyone ever organize us or say, okay, folks, you're county committee men and women, this is how you can help the candidates? Nothing, silence. But they'll tell people, oh, don't go to that club, don't speak at that club, don't do this. Enough, enough. And you know what, I stood there and let them humiliate me, at least try to. Okay, try to intimidate me, but enough is enough. I don't have to be silent, I'm in my territory. And I don't intend to be silent because we cannot afford to be silent. We had so many close elections that we should have won, and we did not. Where is the leadership? Where is the organization? The only time I ever hear from the Queens GOP is if they want money or they want me to attend an overly priced, expensively priced function, and that, or when they're sending me the pre-slug proxy. And as I mentioned, then they turn around and they plan their reorganization meeting every year on Queens Village's meeting night. That's an accident, folks, I ask you.
It's the only thing that can happen.
So that the rest of us are silenced. Are we dealing with the Republican Party here? What are we dealing with? Larry?
But I have a question for you. As far as hierarchy, this organization in Queens, is there something above them? Is there an organization in charge of them?
The state GOP, Dan, am I correct? I mean, we might split up.
And the state GOP, who's in charge of them?
It's a big boys club. Larry, it's a private club.
Yeah.
The GOP is a private club. Well, they're all under the rule, the Board of Elections is under the iron fist of the Republican Party. And they dare not deviate. Oh, yeah. So as Jim was saying, instead of taking someone and putting that person to run, by the way, let me just say something. We have 2,450 seats, county committee, is it? Okay, in Queens. How many are filled? A couple of hundred? So why are you going after my seat?
Those people.
Why don't you use your energy to fill all of those empty seats? You see what I'm saying? This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. We have more opposition from our own party than from the Democrats. That's been my experience. So, as I said, unity, if I hear that word out of them anymore, unity, okay, we're standing in the way of unity. Sorry folks, unity doesn't mean conformity. Okay? The party just dictates, but they don't communicate. They want exclusive rights, mind you, to pick the candidates. We shouldn't have the right to pick our candidates. They want to just pick somebody and coronate them and put them on the ballot, and if we say boo about it, intimidation, exclusion, whatever they can do to us. This is what goes on. So you either kiss the ring, you do whatever they tell you to do, or that's it. You're out of the club, folks. So we're our own club. Enough of this. Unity is built on shared purpose, not identical thinking. It means standing together on the issues while honoring our differences in background and experience and perspective. Unity thrives on diversity and dialogue. It invites us to bring different perspectives to the table, not by erasing our identities, but by building something stronger together. That's what unity is. Okay, not do as I say. That's not unity. And if we don't listen to you, we're not unified? No. That's not unity, that's not leadership. So, I don't want to deter anybody, because I'm going to end on a positive note. I think we're going to win anyway.
Yeah.
In spite of that. And thank you. And if we don't, we'll just do it again. We have a lot at stake. And if we all do it, if we all fill those county committee seats, they're going to run out of names to use against us. So I really encourage you, and you know what, it might be way easier than you think. For example, there are some election districts that people don't even realize, they only need 2 signatures to run.
Or less.
Right? Some of us are in tough, we're like, I need 20, but you know what? Yeah, well, safely 20. I really technically in our district, we only needed about 14. But, you always want to get those insurance ones because they're going to find every reason to knock signatures off. See, their standards are very high when it comes to what you're doing. But when it comes to what they're doing, they'll lose your petitions, and I'll let the rest of the folks talk, because I'm sure they all have stories.
Good job.
So, that's
Any questions?
thank you so much, everyone.
Any questions for Elena? Okay. Thank
Once
you.
for county committee, do it.
George Stein?
Well, it's an honor, folks. I am running for my second consecutive, service opportunity as the county committee person where I live. I want to say there are a small group of great people in this room here who have motivated me to create service for the Republican Party. I found out who I was in the political context volunteering for Palladino, where people know who I am because I'm a chronic volunteer. I run a parade in Bayside that gets 10,000 to 15,000 people to show up. I'm a member of 6 different groups in my parish, 2 different things in my high school. I'm a member of, believe it or not, 6 Republican groups in Queens County. I'm a member of 5 civic associations. I am the vice president of the Northeast Queens Civic Association. My term ends July 1st. And folks, you gotta have it in your heart. And I want to thank all of you for giving me strength in one form or another. My first time I'm doing the dance, and I have Costas, I don't mind naming names. Costas from Vicky's office is telling for me to run in a district I do not live in. I am the vice president of a civic association. That is where I belong to be the county committee person. No, you should do this, you should do this. Really? And my term is ending. I ran for the presidency. I lost 49 to 3. The problem with that organization, folks, at least here there's open dialogue. Can you imagine? Say this, yes, there are Republican clubs as well as civic associations that do not hold an open mic for people that are candidates for the different jobs and responsibilities within those organizations to present what they want to do, what they have accomplished, and just basic question and answer. You have the Northeast Civic, we don't do that. At least they said we don't do that. Has anybody ever seen a solicitation by the Whitestone Republicans for candidates of the members that are paying their dues? Has never happened. And you can't take it personally. You have to hold it as your mantle to bring forward justice and improve life. And I've seen Mr. McManus at a club rip right out underneath them. What kind of morality does that show about these people? It's really just a horrible thing to it hurts me as a person, hell you. But I'm posturing myself, as many of you know, to run for Mrs. Palladino's position after she turns out. I will do everything I can to help Vicky get elected. I will do every possible thing I did in helping her get elected the first time. But there's a lot of people who like to talk, and how many people are going to go knock on the door? How many people are going to stand in front of a supermarket, or a deli, or a Dunkin' Donuts? I have had, anybody know who Donovan Richards is?
I know.
Anybody know who Eddie Broadstein is? Both of those gentlemen told me, or alleged to me, patted me on the back, that I have worked hard on Republican campaigns than the people I supported. And you know what it's about? It's a matter of honor. And I was paving the way, and I was learning how to play this game, and I'm gonna be a winner. And so is everyone else in this room. But I have to say, all the little steps that you people are doing here, that I'm doing here, can't stop the momentum of good people. You can't stop it. And I get a kick out of, in that being a member of all these different clubs, we all want to know how the other guy's doing. You could go. They're open meetings. I mean, I always say, this is the most open meeting in the city of New York. I have tremendous admiration for this man. He'll let anybody come in here. He doesn't know how much you embarrass yourself. It becomes a comedy show. It really does. But I love you, Dan, and all the people there have a place in my heart, because you know what? You're doing God's work. And that is where we're supposed to be. And work your campaigns. Say hello to your neighbors. I get the biggest laugh out of people that say to me, how is Curtis ever going to win? Nobody knows that Curtis is going to win. It's just, besides go to work every day, if you do that, on your little path to work and your little path back, who do you talk to? This guy is out killing himself. This guy, tell people when they tell me, nobody knows who he is. Go to a meeting, he'll shake your hand. Any meeting, you go to Curtis's website, you go to any of these, every night he's somewhere, he will shake your hand, talk to you, answer your questions. Now, one of the mayoral candidates is doing that. We have seen some really committed people in the last year sitting in this room saying they're going to be mayoral candidates. I pray you all over Mr. Stein. He's a great guy. Did you see in the paper today? This is the anniversary of him getting 5 bullets. Who took bullets for this city like this guy? And I had the honor and privilege of being summoned by him on occasion to drive him back into Manhattan. The guy pretty much sleeps in my car. I leave him alone. We get to LaGuardia, he's out. I drive him in to get to wherever he lives. And it's the first black and white. But the rest of these people are basically criminals. And, you know, my turn comes down the road, you know I'm gonna kick ass. And I have people that are going to be will we actually have a Whitestone Republican Club after Mrs. Palladino gets elected for the last time? Those people have no sense of unity. One of the better jokes, this is on video, is the people from Nassau County said, and this is Mr. Joseph Cairo and all these other people came to a Whitestone Republican meeting, and one of the liaisons, who they know, Michael. The problem with the Whitestone Republican Club is they all have the same street sign. I said, what's that? One way? So I say this to distinguished, does anybody know who our county chair is, Mr. Nunziata? I have a good relationship with him. Sometimes I kiss him, he's not good, you know. But the man's making an effort, which is you have to recognize people that are making an effort to move things forward. So I told him that joke, he goes, George, it's not a one way, it's a dead end. And I leave you with that remark. Stay strong. I don't mind this environment, it doesn't bother me. The man taking this video used to be my boss. He was one of the nicest people that I ever worked for. Let him be a mystery. It's all yours, Mr. Mayo. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to invite someone up, that's on the agenda, this is Suzanne Kronowitz. Elena mentioned earlier that when she saw the petitioning, the county committee space on the petitions blank. Well, we have sort of the opposite situation here. Suzanne Kronowitz is on the petition, but the county did not put it on. Oh. Wow.
I just want to give a little background. So, like Jim and Elena, and my husband Mark, we're all on the board of the Queens Village Republican Club. But I got involved in 2021, and I wanted to become a county committee person. And I did my petitions with Joe and Phil and Danny, and I got primary, like Jim and Elena. And I actually reached out to the person who was running against me, and he also didn't know that he was running against me. And he said, you know, they kind of stick me in wherever they need me. So I contacted my neighbors that I had, you know, gotten in touch with through my election district, and we campaigned, and I won that primary. And then 2 years later, I encouraged my husband Mark to run with me, so we ran together for county committee. And we were also helping Vicki Palladino with her city council election at that time. So we had a petition that had Vicki on the top and our names were on the bottom for county committee. And we got our signatures and the paperwork was fine and we were elected. No one ran against us that time and we were county committee. So I guess we're sort of the incumbent county committee people right now. This year, what happened was, we wanted to help Vicki with her reelection. So we did the paperwork again through Vicki's office. We had these county petitions that had Vicki's name on top, and now we filled in our names for county committee. We got enough signatures for our ED to get county committee. Like in our ED, we need about 20, so we got about 40 just to be safe. And then, we submitted all our petitions to Vicki's campaign manager. And I guess about a week later, the ledger came out, and our names were not in the ledger for county committee. Our election district wasn't in the ledger at all. So
Same thing happened to me.
And so no one was actually
Both
primary
years.
in us, but our election district wasn't even there. So I told Vicki what happened, I told Danny what happened, and Danny said, at this point, it's too late to tell the Board of Elections in Manhattan, you need to deal with the Board of Elections in Queens. So we told Vicki about it, she gave us the email address for Laura Haggard.
Good job.
So I emailed him and I explained what happened, that we got signatures for Vicki and for us, but our names were not in the ledger, and I said, maybe our petition got lost. And he responded to me, he said, I'll look into it. And I followed up with him, and he said, it's not that your petitions got lost. They were put through for the city council petitioning, but not for your assembly district, and you weren't named for your election district. So when I explained this to Jimmy, he said, it sounds like your cover sheet wasn't filled out properly. So it was an error with the paperwork.
So the person that generated the cover sheet that you were issued to go get the copies whacked the sheet and it wasn't good enough. This is what they did over there. They put the wrong address of one of the people that was running for a county committee position in Malva, and they put, so you folks met Mr. Shanahan, who's running for judge again, they misspelled William. And that invalidated a bunch of things, and it's, if you haven't met this one-act character that's out there, he's managed to get fired from a bunch of jobs. But how do you, when you're told the day that those petitions hit the street, when you're told the day that the petitions hit the street, you gotta change your paperwork and make this a more appropriate copy so that it won't get contested. Oh, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. But somehow I made it through. I would have to say, David Solano, Queens Village, amongst other celebrities that I've met in Queens Village, Joseph is very much an academic person helping us. But these folks, we're supposed to be helping each other. How can somebody give you something they know is useless? And then, oh, I don't know what happened there. But I love this girl and her husband. They give me a lot of strength. How many newspapers do we distribute? The Queens Village Club distributes what? About 4,000 a month?
10,000.
10,000 copies a
Person
month.
gets the bulk, the lion's share, picks them up, so.
Yeah, this wonderful boy, but she's married. And, but folks, you gotta, despite all the negative adjective that goes on, if your heart's in it, you get to feel small victories and achievements, but more importantly, we've got a good group of friends here. And we have a couple of other good groups that are around there, and small moral victories. Curtis is gonna win.
Yes.
Curtis is gonna win.
So Mark wrote back and said that he tried to see if he could speak to like a lawyer or counsel to see if anything could be done to remedy why we're not on the ledger. And he said if that doesn't work, then there's another option where he could bring it to a committee. And since then, I followed up several times and I haven't heard anything back. And I spoke to both my district leaders. One of them said that they might be able to appoint us, but it would probably not be until after the reorganization. So I don't think, we would be able to participate in the organization, but Mark and I both said that even if we're not officially county committee this year, we're still gonna do the job. Like, I just contacted all my neighbors to get out and vote in the primary for Tuesday.
I love you.
And I'm very grateful to Danny for all his help, and he's such a amazing person, and so always available to help. So.
He's the only burglar I let in my own home. You find stuff in the house. Oh, damn it. My brothers can't do that, but he is welcome.
And I agree with what Elena said. I encourage everyone to try to run for county committee and, let's try to get some better leadership in Queens.
Karen Carr, raise Karen, she's running in the 23rd Assembly District and committee.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Karen.
Hi, everyone. If you're new to this, so I just want to introduce myself. I'm Karen Carr. I'm a retired police sergeant, NYPD. And after that, I went on to Fordham University to work as a security administrator, and was able to get finish my college degree. But anyway, I'm pretty new to all this. I've been a Republican now since Ronald Reagan. Actually, I became a Republican after I earned more than $50,000 a year. But as I say, I'm new to this. So I just met Phil, we're neighbors. I'm going to be talking to him and get some guidance from him. And it was very interesting coming to this meeting and meeting you all and getting your perspective on the politics. I might be withdrawing my name after hearing this one.
No, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
But it's a pleasure to meet you all and keep doing the good work that you do. Thank you. Section 11 of Rockaway Beach.
So you're a county committee person.
Candidate.
She's a primary. Okay, the next person that has a primary is Novo Vaz, next to her.
All right, sorry, Danny, sorry. Well, first of all, Danny's the best, I have to say. We believe in this club absolutely believes in freedom of speech, right? Okay, the Constitution, we're supposed to follow that Constitution, but we know that's the problem today. The problem today is we're not following the law. There's two-tier justice. We know that one group gets arrested and spends years in jail while another group can burn down precincts and get away with it. And why? Okay? Well, let me first introduce myself again. Phil McManus from Rockaway Park. All right, I'm running for county committee in 23rd Assembly, and it's election district 10. Why is this happening? Because our leadership has not trained us properly to respect our country and our laws. And we have to do something more. We have to look in the mirror, because the real problem is the politicians. When you run for office, you see how pathetic our citizens are. You get very few volunteers. You get very few donors. The only people that are successful are the ones that have friends and big boy clubs and secret clubs. They're the ones that usually are successful. So, what are we doing down here? County committee, right? That's the grassroots. Is anybody in the room that doesn't know what county committee is? We vote for the county leadership. We also are supposed to vote for candidates and say, okay, we want a guy like Tom Sullivan. Tom Sullivan lost by 15 votes, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, in 2020, he lost by 15 votes. You know why Trump won in 16? For a lot of different reasons, but they never thought, the other side never thought he would win. And we had a lot of people praying for Trump, and he was a surprise. If they knew that he had a chance, they would have done what they did in 2020. All right? Just to tell you a little bit about myself, all right? I was born in 1965. My parents came from Ireland. They had a tough life. They had an education, 6th grade education, and they did mostly menial manual labor. 7 kids altogether. My first sister passed away when she was a baby. I had 6 other siblings, including myself. I went to St. Rosalinas on 84th Street in Rockaway. I went to PS 42 first because I couldn't get into the school at the time at St. Rose. I did 7 years at St. Rosalinas in the elementary school, then I went to Beach Channel High School. I loved the crew team. There was the only high school crew team in the city, and we traveled good hundreds of miles of races that we went to. We went to Poughkeepsie, we went to West Virginia, we went to Ohio. It was a great experience at Beach Channel High School. That was probably the best time I had. School is school, you know what I mean? I wasn't a big school guy. But my father passed away when I was 19, and it was a devastating loss. And I wanted to do more. So I started thinking, well, do I want to be a priest? Do I want to be a cop? Do I want to be a fireman, EMS? So I wanted to help people. So I became a cop. I became a cop April of 1990. And in 1992, I got married to my beautiful wife, who I just lost in January. And that was, if you want to talk about loss, that's a loss. So, but everything that I've been doing was always God, family, country. And that's exactly how I am now, God, family, country. And what I see is this, this room is usually pretty crowded. And of course the weather is dampening us. But we need more active people. And guess who's here? The active people are here. But you gotta recruit. Most organizations that fade away is one leader and there's no one following the leader. After a while, that leader passes away or moves away or gets sick, you can't do it anymore, and then the organization fades away and stops. So everyone has to look at the leadership and say, hey, we got a good leader like Trump right now. I'm a Trump guy. We got to support Trump, but we also got to support the candidates. Now, unity is huge here. The reason why we're not winning is because there isn't unity. And we can point fingers at everybody, all right? We all want unity. It's just that we argue about how to be united. So what we got to do is stay positive, focus on winning. I absolutely believe I will personally never challenge anyone. As far as I'm concerned, if you're an American citizen and you live in a district, as far as I'm concerned, you're in, okay? Run for office. I'm never going to contest anybody's petitions. I think it's nonsense, to be honest with you. There are states that don't do that. If you put, I think I heard someone that if you pay $100 for the application, you're on the ballot. And that's it. And if there's 10 people or 20 people or 100 people, God bless America. I think the more people that get involved, the better. And that I believe is the theme of this meeting. Get involved, okay? Run for office. Stop complaining and start doing. I can't tell you my whole political experience since 2014. I helped Mike O'Reilly run for Congress. He ran for judge down in Broad Channel. I helped Paul King. I helped Tom Sullivan. I helped Bill Shanahan. I helped Wiener. I mean, there's a million people that I try to help. And there are people that I don't like in that group of people that are helping. Well, guess what? Stay focused. Help the candidate. If you really don't like the candidate, don't help the candidate. But don't get into the weeds and get into personal vendettas and stuff like that, because we got enough of that. We do. And all you got to do is, I believe Queens at one time in the early 80s was actually a Republican county. I don't know if anybody knows there was a building on Lefferts Boulevard. That was the Republican Club, right? So the Republicans can do it if we try. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know too many recruitment drives for Republicans. What I like to do, every time you go door to door, I always ask the Republicans, do they have any family members that vote Republican? They may be registered Democrats. Who else is going to try to get that family member to turn and become a Republican? It's the husband, it's the children, it's the grandparents. That's who. I go to a door, they may be strangers. They're not going to really listen to me. But I talk to the Republican who signed my petition or another person's petition, and I say, hey, I always walk around, I have it with me right here, registration forms. I do my own recruitment to try to get people that vote Republican to become Republican. And guess what this job is all about? County committee is all about organizing Republicans. And you hope that more people will join and that they don't have the negative stories, okay? The negative stories just break your heart. And if you really care, you don't need to be, punished or oh, you're on the wrong side of the... Have the primaries. That's what this country's all about. The more primaries we have, the better. I have a primary myself. I don't care. I hope they win. And if they don't win, I hope I win. Because someone has to step up. So that's what we're trying to do. I could definitely go negative. Okay, I have a lot of history. All right, we don't need that because a lot of people in this room already know it. So you're beating a dead dog. So I just want to tell you, I'm running with a lady, a very nice lady. She stepped up when I asked if she would like to run with me, Deborah DeLauro, and she's from the building next to us. Just tell you a little bit about Rockaway in the district. I'm very lucky. I have about, give or take, 500 Republicans in my 6 buildings. 6 apartment buildings on Shorefront Parkway and Rockaway Park. You ever walk in the boardwalk, you'll see those 6 buildings. You have 3 buildings from Dayton Towers West, which is where I live, 10200. And then you have the 3 buildings in Surfside. We're Mitchellama, the Dayton Towers, and then there's apartment rentals. Beautiful place. You can't beat the view if you love the ocean, okay? But those are 6 buildings. Well, guess what? I know everybody in those buildings. I have keys. I have keys to 3 of those buildings because I'm part of the same development. I really own that building. And when I first ran, knowing the politics, sadly, I got over 200 signatures, okay, for me and my son. And because I had so many signatures, and I made sure every signature was legit, okay, they couldn't beat me. The only thing that they could do at that point is the clerical nonsense. Oh, you didn't do this, you didn't submit that, you didn't do that. Now, thank goodness I have friends that know how to do that, like a manager, right? I want to make this analogy, and this is the way this is going to work. If you want to play baseball and be competitive, you better know the rules. If you don't know the rules, you're going to lose the game every time. Oh, I didn't know. Well, guess what? You're going to lose if you don't know. So it's very important, and I hope I would love Danny to, and the different clubs, to teach people to petition. And also to submit the paperwork, so you don't have one person that knows everything, and you're relying on that person. Don't rely on one person. What if that person is sick? What if that person passes away or moves away? Or what if that person lies and doesn't tell the truth and loses your paperwork because they can't? Oh, I don't know who. But I do know that if you rely on that person to do your paperwork, well, guess what? Someone in this room just said that they lost the paperwork. Was that intentional or was that an accident? Well, that's why we need everyone to learn how to run for office. And then when you get really good at it, when you really get to knocking on those doors and they know you own that district. And I gotta tell you, I love the primaries. I want 10, 20 people to run for office. I really do. Because let them win. I don't care. I'm not gonna lose sleep. I'm not. So I would encourage everybody. And I think most of you people, I'm preaching to the choir. I love all of you guys. I love my country. I love my family. And I love my God. And that's where the truth comes in. If you don't believe in God, do you believe in truth? And there is basic truths out there. I'm a big 10 Commandment guy, okay? Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, okay? Don't lie, don't do these things. And there's people in our power, in our country, that are doing all these things. Why do we have trillions of dollars of debt? Well, now we know that Doge is exposing all the money that's being thrown out the window. So it's important, and I'm preaching to the choir, I apologize. Get more people here. Recruit more people. The meetings, people, I've done this for a while, people are afraid. You know how hard it is, one of the biggest things is speaking in public. Well, imagine now if you are afraid to speak in public and you have to knock on the door. I get nervous, and I've been doing this for a while. But you gotta break that nervous and think about the goal. The goal is to save our country. And yes, they're coming after our children. They're coming after our sick family members. Physician, doctor, assisted suicide. It's not suicide when someone else helps you to die. I call it assisted murder. And you know who did this? The Nazis did this. The commies did this. We have to step up. And guess what? There's a lot of people here. But how many people are in their 20s? How many people are in their 30s? Recruit. And you know who you need to recruit? I got 3 boys, okay? They need to be here too. Did I ask them to come? Yes, I did. I have a lot of leverage on them if I want to, all right? Get your children to come to these meetings. And not just this meeting. Go to the club meetings, because I have people in Astoria that I text message all the time. And they just complain, ladies and gentlemen. They just complain. They don't even come to a club meeting. And I said, how are you going to make a difference if you don't get involved? So ladies and gentlemen, please get involved. God bless you. God bless this country. God bless George and anybody else.
Thank you very much. Phil and myself have a lot of history that he's not sharing, but...
Oh yeah. Let's stay positive.
He wants to go home tonight.
I'll talk to you later if you want to talk about the dirt.
A lot of
Let's
good
stay
stuff.
positive.
Okay, our next person that has a primary for county committee is Andrew Okuneff in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
All right, Brooklyn.
Let's see, that's me. And thank you, Danny. Danny called me the other day. He's like, well, you have a race for county committee. Come speak. I was like, well, okay, I have a race for county committee. Kind of in a similar spot here with Elena, where like plus minus 2 EDs. No one's running. 3 people running in my ED. 2 years ago, I wasn't going to any of these committees. Now I've seen George at Queens Village, I've seen George at Middle Village, I've seen George here. I've been to Sunnyside, West Side, Metropolitan Club, Rockaway Club, getting involved and doing things here. Gonna try to draw people's attention to a different race, though, one that hasn't been mentioned. Not quite New York, New Jersey, the governor's race. A guy named Chattarelli, who lost by 2 points 4 years ago when he was running against incumbent Murphy, is now running against a much weaker candidate, this girl Cheryl.
Michael Cheryl.
Right. He knows. and this mighty girl, she gets overwhelmed. She's a much weaker candidate than the incumbent governor who was running at the time 4 years ago. I look at this race, we're not that far from New Jersey, and northern New Jersey isn't the stronghold. Jack's stronghold is really in southern New Jersey and central New Jersey, where people who, take the PATH train to Newark, take the PATH train to Jersey City, Hoboken, you go to Secaucus, Fort Lee, Persephone, these areas which are close to us, this is going to be a really, really tight race. And I think, frankly, I actually think that Jack is going to win. That in New Jersey, in this year, we're going to have a Republican governor. And that's huge for us, neighboring state, tri-state, New York, think of first. New Jersey, you think of second. And I think, just to kind of reiterate this, people that this wasn't on people's radar, he recently won the primary, which was June 10th in New Jersey. So for the next 4 or 5 months, in New Jersey, this race is going to be really tight, where people could phone bank, people could knock doors in Jersey City or Newark or anywhere else they could get to easily in New Jersey. I'm drawing attention to that and really jumping up with that. And that's really what I wanted to mention here. I am running for the first time for county committee. Fingers crossed with that race. It might be 3-2. Not a very Republican area.
7-5.
7-5 might be not a heck of a lot of Republican activity in North Brooklyn. I am trying to jumpstart North Brooklyn Republican Club.
Good.
It hasn't taken off yet.
Keep going.
However, we're fighting through, we're fighting on, and I think that's everything that I really want to say. Thank you again.
Can I ask a question, sir?
Go for it.
So I enjoy North Brooklyn myself, and
I love it, don't get me wrong.
and there's a lot of young people there
Right.
that have, oh God, they're working on the activism in their hearts. And have you, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, have you put together a group of people to say, hey, let's do a night in some bar or some restaurant and put some flyers up in the neighborhood, put stuff up on social media? Have you tried that?
So I organized a few different nights, a couple nights at this bar, Key Bar, which I had known since I was in college, right when I turned 21. I was looking at bars in the East Village. They moved to Bushwick, and I talked to one of the owners. He was like, hey, host an event here. I know Ed and Elijah and Chance, among others, showed up to this a couple times. And then one of the other owners was like, don't come here, don't do this now. And so...
Did you tell him where he could go? You don't want business from good people that are gonna bring other people in, Mr.
Right.
Jones?
I expressed my frustration, however, he was like, I don't want to politicize my location.
What was his latest grade on the board of health? You gotta be a fighter. The thing is, and here I am doing this now in Bayside, because none of the Republicans are actually elected in my district. Figure it out, folks. Are going up to the business people on the local strip and saying, we have more interest in, there's a lady running for district attorney in the borough of Manhattan, of coming out to something like that. And the more people push you aside, the stronger you make you. Because you know what? You are selling your pants. They are crapping in advance because you're a real man and you're coming for it. And you're threatening them with your intelligence. That's what's going on here.
Right, no, and I do hear you. I love my neighborhood. I love living in Bushwick. It's, between the L train and the J train, it's a quick jump to Manhattan. I wish we were more conservative. We kind of got our eccentric bars and things like that, and clubs. However, we got restaurants, we got arts, we got nightlife, and I love my neighborhood. However,
You could use this
make
as part of drawing people out, because they like to be in front of everybody.
right. No,
Have a night for, this is the month.
that is the month for that, and making a push here, and again, kind of jumping back to neighboring state New Jersey would be awesome to have a Republican governor. First one since Christie, who I thought was a really good governor. He took up the veto pen for too much spending, conservative minded, and yes, so.
So you've got Brandon.
Was that
You've got Brandon.
Brandon?
Brandon.
Oh, yes, Mr. Castro?
Follow his business model.
Brandon Castro's good.
No,
He's phenomenal.
I
He
talked to
eventually
him
will be the
about
face of the Republican Party in Queens County, because people die, and he is in his 20s. At some point in time, let's go 25 years from now, I hate to say this, maybe 35 years from now, he's still gonna be alive, and all these other people are gonna be like, pushing up date, me included. He is determined. He is a great man, follow his business model.
And John Healy, John Healy.
Sunnyside, right?
Yeah,
Good guy.
Sunnyside.
those guys.
There's another young man.
Who's the fella, Frias? Frias, I don't know.
Yes.
his name.
Ramses.
Yeah, Ramsey's free.
Yeah, he's very good too. Do you know Ramsey?
I don't know Ramsey.
Oh, yes. Well, let me see if I can give you his number too.
Yeah, no, that's
He's a Brooklyn guy.
I've heard the name. I don't know him though. I know John and I know Brandon.
Okay. Network.
And so you know our friend got thrown out of the Conservative Party in the last couple of weeks.
Oh,
Isaiah.
Isaiah, that's right.
What a great guy.
No, he helped me get some of the lists.
What a great friend. But those are the Cowboys, you gotta line up and get your posse together.
And you're young too.
Well, so is Andrew. Andrew's also very young.
I'm saying he's your friend.
I look really young. I'm in my late 30s, however.
You're a baby.
Well, you're better than
I get carded. I get carded anytime.
You won, you're the winner.
Anyway.
Okay. Let's see. Anyone that wants to say something, welcome to say something. But first, I want to give you an update on early votings. I'm going to let Robert Skoretzka, who is one of the coordinators of the voting sites, is going to give you an idea what's happening that you don't see it in the on the board election website.
Okay, my name is Robert Skoretzka. I'm an affidavit inspector at the poll site at Ellen Marshall. That's right in back of Borough Hall. And I just want to let you know what's going on. The affidavit inspector, what I do is fix problems. People vote, there's ranked voting, and the Democrats wind up making a mistake on the ballot. Like for instance, on the first day, it was, we had 372 voters, 359 were Democrats, and only 13 Republicans. And I was one of the 13 that voted on the first day. And that day we had affidavits, we had 17 affidavits that we had to fill out because there was problems when they checked to vote. There was a problem. It says no contest. It doesn't say that they're a Republican. It doesn't say that they're a Democrat. So there's a problem case. They had to come to my table. We had to try to figure it out. And I even had a person that came to my table. He was registered Republican. And the thing is, he says, I wanted to change my party. I wanted to go on the Democrat side. Because on the Republican side, Curtis is by himself. All the other people, I guess, dropped out. So there's no primary for Curtis. So he's going to be in for November. And this person wanted a choice of like 9 or 10 people on the Democrat side. So he says, you can't do it. You can't do it, it's too late. You want to change. But I mean, we have to get more people on the Republican side. You know, and a lot of people, when things were going on, automatically they go on the Democrat because the Democrats have a lot of people on the party. So I encourage everybody that hasn't voted, there is a Republican primary. And Danny is on it. And and a lot of people, I guess, to go, that's the only primary there is on that. And don't just sit on your rear end, you know, go and vote, you know, to try to get him in there so he could be on the ballot in November. Now, on that first day, I had like 17 affidavits. There was another thing on the affidavits. If somebody gets absentee ballot in the mail and they come to the booth, they have to vote affidavit because we don't know if they mailed it in and then they wanted to try to vote, they can't vote on the machines. You know, so if that happens, they get an affidavit. There's people that move, we have to give them an affidavit or something. You know, any kind of thing. Then they can vote that way, and then it goes to the Board of Elections. So that first day we had 17 affidavits, and we had 18 voids, because people double voted. I even had one person on the ranked voting. You have the big five. This is on the Democratic primary sheet. They voted for 5 people in first place. You can't do that. You can vote only first place is 1, you know. I have some brochures there if you want anything, just showing you the dates of the early voting, like, what's going on. Today, it was, the ballots, it was open from 9 to 5. Tomorrow, it's from 8 to 4, of which I was working every day, but I took today off. I needed a rest because the long days were Tuesday and Wednesday. The poll site was from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and I had to be there an hour before. So that's a long day. So I needed a day off. So I'm going to also be here.
You're a human being, you're allowed.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
So
Phil has the same disease over in Queens Village. And he's destroying his wife by killing himself.
he killed himself.
This is the disease you kids got going over there.
And I'm surprised that the turnout was better than normal, but only for the Democrats. You know, more people showed up. But where's all the Republicans? The Republicans gotta vote. You know, don't just say, somebody else is gonna do it. You know, why bother, you know, because there's only one thing going on, you know, for Danny. And I work with this other woman, she's a Democrat. And she told me, she says, I don't like the mayor, all the people running on the Democratic Party. And she says, I'm voting for Curtis.
Yay.
She's a Democrat.
How many Republicans are in your district? I have 327 Republicans in my district. How many are in your district?
In my ED or?
Right, that are in this primary to vote for you. What's the total amount of people that could vote for you?
Yeah, but you're citywide, right?
Entire resident, all the registered
Citywide.
Republicans, citywide. Yeah.
Well, oh, so citywide I can vote for you?
Yeah, anyone.
So I can vote for you out in where I live?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, he's on the
Citywide.
ballot. He's on the ballot.
Just like mayor.
You're in, brother.
Good job, Danny.
And
Get it on.
on Sunday,
I'll put that on my social media. Get your ass out there and vote for my friend Danny.
Appreciate it, thanks.
If you're a Republican and you got a pad, get out there. And if you don't, even more.
and on Sunday we had 452 people. And the thing is, at one point in the morning, it was quiet. Then in the afternoon, it started picking up. And then all hell breaks loose when we only had 10 minutes to go. Somebody calls, makes a mistake, needs an affidavit. Another person needs an affidavit. And the thing is, it holds us up. We can't close on time, and we have to stay longer. We don't get paid for overtime, you know? And
16 hours.
that day we had, okay, out of 452, we had 24 affidavits, of which the last 10 minutes, we had 3 of them. And one person worked there. Why would they come if that was the problem? Why did they wait for the last minute to vote? You know, to mess things up. They should come earlier when it was kind of quiet, nothing was going on too much. But that day we had 24 affidavits and we had 22 voids where people made mistakes. And on Monday was a quieter day. We had 264 people. Tuesday, we had, checked in, we had 141. 141, it was quiet. You know, also, when it's rainy or something, or the weather doesn't look good, even though it's not pouring, you know, it reduces things. And Wednesday, okay, that was yesterday. Okay, yesterday, Wednesday we had, yesterday, we had 338. 338. Now the total from Saturday through yesterday was oh wait, oh no, hold it. A Wednesday. Wednesday was 329 people. We had 16 people that made mistakes. So the total, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 1,704 Democrats voted, and only 51 Republicans. So we gotta get more Republicans to vote.
Absolutely.
We gotta beat those Democrats.
Yes.
That day we had 24 affidavits that we had to fill out. And we had 79 voids, people made mistakes.
Yeah.
Some people sometimes they don't fill in the box correctly, but they put X's or something like that.
Right.
I had a person, they said, the scanner wouldn't accept the ballot. What's the problem? And I look at one place on the thing, there was a little dot, like they wanted to vote in one spot, but they changed their mind and voted. So it was a double vote.
Right.
Just a little tiny thing to throw everything off.
Yeah.
You know, but I have to fix all kinds of problems. Some people wanted to update their address, and there's all kinds of other things. But I was the affidavit inspector. So tomorrow the poll site is from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And whenever I have to be there an hour before, so I have to be there 7 o'clock.
Question.
Yes.
Did they vote today with the holiday?
Yes.
They did. I'm sorry.
Today the polls were from 9 to 5.
They did.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if they did or not.
No.
When does it end, the early voting?
Sunday.
Sunday's gonna be,
Nuts.
usually the last day is the busiest. And one time, it was the last day, 5 minutes to go, and you gotta tally up the whole thing. And this group of people came in with hats on, and I don't know what kind of, Harry Krishna, I don't know what.
What kind of group?
I don't know what kind of, they came in, and they had problems. Four out of 5 people voted, no problem. And then one person says, how come my family could vote and I have a problem? What happened? They moved. And 4 had the old address, so they had to vote here, that was correct. And 1 changed the address.
Right.
And the address was closer to Queens College. So they ran, you can't vote in the wrong place. But the last 5 minutes of the 9th day,
Catholic school.
And a lot of people, it looked like a conspiracy sometimes, that at the end of the day, the last 5 minutes, something, a whole bunch of people come in. Before that, it might be quiet,
You'll never see that in school. The problem is they don't teach you that. You have to learn by mistake or, sorry. The problem is they're not teaching civics. They're not teaching how to vote. And not tell you how to vote, just teach them how. How do you vote? And a lot of people, they don't vote. And when they do come in, they make a mess of things. But there's no TikTok video, there's no simple where people can go to. And that's the hardest thing, is getting people to be on the same platform, which years ago you had ABC, NBC, CBS, whatever. And now you have a multitude of platforms. I can't keep up with these platforms. I just go to basic, simple, hey, you want to call me? Call me. If you want to text me, text me. Email, forget about it. I don't even do email. That's the problem here. They're not being taught. And they're not being taught that it's important. And then you have the corruption, and that's a big part of the problem. Well, my vote doesn't count. It doesn't count, and that's what people believe. And that's what people say, and that's where all the lies come into play. They have an obligation to vote. 20% votes in the city of New York for mayor. It's a joke, and it's even less than 20%.
Yeah, it's not too many people vote, and some people think, it's only one vote.
Right.
But what about the one person that you mentioned lost by 15 votes?
15 votes. So,
Look how close it was. And then one time with borough president, I think Melinda Katz, okay, she's on the Democratic side.
oh, that was very close.
It was very close.
With Tiffany Caban. Yeah, they
And it
ran.
took a month to figure it out. It kept going back and forth. And I think she told me she won by about 60 votes.
Yeah,
But at
very
first, she lost by 100. You know, and it kept going, they had recounts and everything else.
Yeah.
So, oh, the DA, okay.
District attorney.
District attorney, yes. And then, so, the thing is, if there's anybody here that hasn't voted, there's a Republican primary, go and vote. So, for early voting, Sunday's the last day, otherwise on election day on the 24th. Go to your branch.
I'm voting Tuesday for Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Russell
So the
City
thing,
School.
he needs your support.
Yes.
Don't say, he's the only one, he's running against another person. And the thing is, they had it on a ranked choice voting. Yeah, ranked choice for him. It was him and then another person, and then the third one was a write-in. It was Mickey Mouse or something, I don't know, you know. But the thing is, go and vote, you know, because your vote could be a difference in winning.
And only vote for Danny, is number one, don't vote for the second person.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I just have a question, sorry to say, even though we just before. Curtis Leland is running a search warrant, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So why is there a Republican primary? He's not.
No, he's not on the thing, the other people dropped out. The other people dropped out. So he's gonna be on the ballot in November. So there's no primary.
I just looked at the ballot for my district today, and that Danny there and somebody else invited him.
Yes,
Well, why isn't Curtis his name?
I just told you that nobody's running against them. The people dropped out.
Right?
You're doing a great job.
What Jim is referring to is when you received your voter guide, it was a huge district. They have a lot of candidates that are off the ballot printed in the voter's guide. That's the reason a lot of people were confused.
If there's a primary with you and somebody else and write-in, why isn't Curtis?
Because he's by himself.
But he's running as a Republican, right?
Right, nobody's running against him.
There's no primary for mayor.
There's no primary.
Huh?
That's a primary.
There's one person who's no.
There's no primary.
They go straight to the general election.
You're in a primary.
Because somebody's running against him. Curtis-
Another Republican is running against him.
Mayor's a citywide office, right? Okay?
Mayor, CY.
But you're a challenger to him, right?
No, Danny's running for controller.
They're running for different positions. Controller, mayor, they're different. One has a primary, and one does not.
Oh, I just want
There's brochures if anybody wants, that tells you the times of the voting.
Any other?
It's on the table back here.
Okay, so any other questions there about the voting? Right now it's about 9:10. Anyone who wants to say something as well? If not, we could probably also end the meeting early. Yes, Robert.
I'm sorry to trouble you. We have here in today's post a list of people running for the Republican Party county committees.
Oh, nice.
I just would like to know, does anybody know what districts are what?
Yes, which one do you, well, you don't have any where you live here. It's mainly in, western Queens. Yeah, but we don't have any Forest Hills.
Okay.
Yeah, so it
In
doesn't-
that case, all I do is have to get enough to go through
You just, we don't want to damage for where you are. And
People here that are all supporting Danny, make sure you only vote for Danny and don't vote for the second, don't put in a number 2. Just put number 1, Danny, and don't vote for anybody else. This will help Danny for one of the greatest upsets ever.
So anyone want to say something before I announce winners of the 50-50? Okay, seeing none, let me go ahead. These are the people that basically to pick up anything from the table. We have okay, MacArthur. We have George. Okay, George, you're away. Yourself. Yes, George, away. McManus. Okay, McManus. Still. So please, anything from the table. We also have Phil again, Phil McManus. Anything from the table you like? Anything from the table you like? And we also have MacArthur again. Richard, please, anything you like? Okay. And also we have Phil McManus again. McManus, please, anything you like on the table? Anything you like on the table? What do you like? And one more winner. Oh, MacArthur. Okay. Let's see, right now it's 9:14. If nobody wants to say something, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Okay, so Tim Sohorn, do you have a second? Okay, all in favor says aye?
Aye.
Okay, no nays? Okay, so it's 9:14, so the meeting has been adjourned. Thank you very much for coming, and don't forget to vote Tuesday. We'll be voting. Thank you.